Good morning, children. Today we shall discuss the powers and the position of the Prime Minister of India. In the previous video tutorial, we discussed the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. We discussed the appointment of the Prime Minister, the appointment of the Council of Ministers. We discussed the categories of ministers, namely cabinet ministers, ministers of states, and deputy minister. And finally, we discussed the powers and functions of the cabinet ministers. Today, we shall discuss the powers and position of the Prime Minister. And when we discuss the powers and position of Prime Minister, we do it with reference to particular context. For example, the power of the Prime Minister in his relation to the President, or the power of the Prime Minister in his relation to the cabinet ministers. The position of the Prime Minister in the Lok Sabha and the power of Prime Minister as leader of the country, leader of the nation. So these 4 points we are going to discuss one by one. And I shall try to explain them in very simple words. So now let's take the power of the Prime Minister in relation to the President of India. So you have here the Prime Minister's relation to the President. It means the Prime Minister is the principal advisor of the President. We have learned that the President acts on the advice of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister is the real executive head of the country, whereas the President is the nominal head. That means the President acts on the advice of the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister is the main, the chief, the principal advisor of the President of India. The next is the Prime Minister makes all sorts of appointments. The President makes all sorts of appointments, but he does so on the advice of the Prime Minister. For example, the President appoints the judges of Supreme Court and High Courts, but he appoints judges on the advice of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. The President appoints the governors of various states. Again, the President does so on the advice of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Therefore, the President makes appointments on the advice of the Prime Minister of India. The Prime Minister is the link between the President and the Council of Ministers. That means the individual ministers, they are not supposed to meet the President. It has to go through the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister becomes a link between the President and the Council of Ministers. So this is what we mean by Prime Minister's power in relation to President. The next point is the power of Prime Minister in relation to the Cabinet. That means in relation to the Cabinet Ministers. And here we know that the Prime Minister is the leader of the Cabinet. As a leader, he has the power to allocate portfolios to ministers. Which department will be headed by which minister will be decided by the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister as a leader allocates portfolios to the ministers. And Prime Minister has the power to reshuffle the ministers. He can ask the President to dismiss a minister also. Therefore, it is the power of the Prime Minister to decide who will be in the cabinet and who will be included in the Council of Ministers. But the President appoints ministers. Again, the President appoints ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. So, real power to select ministers is with the Prime Minister. And the resignation of Prime Minister would mean the resignation of the Council of Ministers. For example, if the Prime Minister resigns, all the other ministers have to resign. If the Prime Minister loses the confidence of the Lok Sabha, he will have to resign. And along with him, the entire ministers have to resign. So this is the meaning of resignation of Prime Minister, means the resignation of all the ministers. So the Prime Minister is leader of the cabinet, Prime Minister is the leader of the Council of Ministers. The third point is the Prime Minister's position in the Lok Sabha. We know that Lok Sabha is the house of the people. There are 545 members in the Lok Sabha that we learned in the first chapter itself. And Prime Minister is the leader of the members of the majority party in the Lok Sabha. Since he has more number of members in the Lok Sabha, he becomes the leader of the Lok Sabha. Therefore, he is the main spokesperson of the Lok Sabha. He defends the policies of the government. Whatever policies are framed, that have to be defended by the Prime Minister in the Parliament, in the Lok Sabha. And in case there is any kind of controversy in the House, sometimes there are issues where the ruling parties and the opposition parties, they have heated arguments and they do not allow the House to function. In such controversial issues, the Prime Minister stands up and he clears, he explains. And since he is the leader of the House, all the members of the House respect him. They listen to him. Therefore, Prime Minister, as leader of the House, has a very, very important role to play in the Lok Sabha also. So this is what we mean by Prime Minister's position in the Lok Sabha. Then another point is the position of Prime Minister as leader of the nation, the leader of the country. We all know that Prime Minister visits so many countries. And when he visits a particular country, he represents India, he represents the people of India. And when he attends international conferences and when he speaks on behalf of the people of India. He speaks for country. That is what we mean by he represents our country when he attends international conferences. And Prime Minister decides what sort of foreign policies, what sort of relations our country should have with other countries. It is the prerogative of the Prime Minister. It is his special privilege to decide what kind of relation India will have with other nations. This is his special power. And again, every 5 years we have general elections where the country goes for election, they elect the Prime Minister. So when there is general election, there will be some proposed names, the names of the candidates who will become the Prime Minister after the election result is declared. So people of the country will vote for the proposed candidate or against the proposed candidate. So if the people are happy with the function and work of the Prime Minister, the people will vote for the Prime Minister. If the people are not happy, not satisfied with his function, his work during his tenure, the people of the country will vote against that proposed Prime Minister. So general election, people have the power to decide who will become the next Prime Minister. And last point is that the Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman of the Niti Aayog and Atomic Energy Commission. Ex officio chairman would mean the fact that one becomes the Prime Minister of India automatically holds the office of chairmanship of the Niti Aayog and Atomic Energy. The chairman of Niti Aayog and the chairman of Atomic Energy Commission need not be appointed or elected, because the Prime Minister becomes the ex officio chairman of the Niti Aayog and Atomic Energy Commissions. So this is what we mean by the powers and position of the Prime Minister. But again, the question will come with reference to a particular context. They will not ask you all of it. So they might ask you, explain the powers and position of the Prime Minister with reference to his relation to the Prime Minister. Then you have to explain few points here. They might ask you, explain the powers and position of the Prime Minister with his relation to the cabinet. Then you have to explain again few points here. So always this question will be asked with reference to particular context. Then next we will discuss how to control and check the authorities of the Prime Minister. So we have discussed so many powers of the Prime Minister. He has so much power, but his power can be misused. Therefore, his authorities have to be checked and controlled. So who can check and control the powers of the Prime Minister? So here we have the coalition party members. They can control, check the powers of the Prime Minister. Coalition party means the Prime Minister does not have the absolute majority in the Lok Sabha. Or even the Prime Minister has the absolute majority in the Lok Sabha, still there are some other parties supporting his party. That means the coalition parties are with the Prime Minister. So these coalition party members, they have important role to check and control the powers of the Prime Minister. And if the Prime Minister does not have the absolute majority, but with the help of the coalition party Prime Minister is running the country, then all the more the coalition party members have the power to control and check the power of the Prime Minister. Otherwise, the coalition party can withdraw support and Prime Minister will have to resign. So that way, the powers can be controlled and checked by the members of the coalition party. The opposition party members. Opposition party is there to always highlight the weakness of the government. Therefore, opposition parties will have to play a very important role to check and control the power of the Prime Minister. Where Prime Minister should have worked harder. That is the role of the opposition party to tell the people. So that way, opposition parties also play important role to check and control the power of the Prime Minister. And third is the media and the press reports. Media and press reports, they have to highlight the good things happening in the country. At the same time, if there are certain areas where government should work harder, where government has failed, that also has to come to the limelight. That also has to be highlighted. People should become aware of those areas also. Therefore, the coalition party members, the opposition party members, and the media and the press people play very vital role to check and control the authorities of the Prime Minister of India. And this check and control of the authorities of Prime Minister of India is for the good of the country. Otherwise, there is every chance that the Prime Minister, the ruling party, can become dictator. They can ignore the needs of the people. But opposition party is there, the press and media people are there who will highlight the weaknesses of the government. So that way, government will try to satisfy the people of the country. Government will try to develop the nation so that people of the country will have the basic amenities, basic needs. So this is all about the powers and position of the Prime Minister. And the last 2 points I want to discuss with you, that is also very important. That is the difference between the individual responsibility and collective responsibility. This question can be asked also. What do you understand by individual responsibility of the ministers or the collective responsibility of the ministers? We have discussed it. In the beginning itself, we discussed that the minister as an individual enjoys his office during the pleasure of the president. That means the individual minister can be dismissed by the president on the advice of the Prime Minister. If the individual minister has neglected his duty, he has failed to fulfill his duties, in that case, this individual minister can be dismissed. He is responsible to the president. This is what we mean by individual responsibility. And collective responsibility means all the ministers are together responsible for any lapse on the part of the government. They stand together, they swim and sing together. They are responsible to the Lok Sabha. And in the Lok Sabha, no confidence motion can be passed. Therefore, collective responsibility would mean the no confidence motion can be passed against a minister. In that case, all the ministers have to resign. Hence, in the collective responsibility, all the ministers own up responsibility inside the parliament, outside the parliament. All the ministers together defend the policies of the government. They defend it in the parliament. They defend it outside the parliament. Outside the parliament means when they face the media people, when there is press report, they will try to defend the policies made by the government. This is, every minister will do that. No minister can say that this particular minister was not the part of the decision making body, so this minister does not know. That will become that there is no collective responsibility. Whether minister was present in the decision making process or not, the minister has to collectively responsible. They have to be collectively responsible. They have to own up responsibility and they have to defend the policy of the government. This is called collective responsibility. So there is difference between individual responsibility of ministers and collective responsibility of ministers. So with this, we have completed our discussion on Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Under Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, we have discussed several topics. Appointments of ministers, categories of ministers, the powers and functions of ministers. Then at the end we discussed exclusively the powers and the position of the Prime Minister of India in relation to the President of India, in relation to the cabinet ministers, his powers in the Lok Sabha and his power as leader of the nation. So I hope you have understood it, and if any doubt is there, you go through the study material. All these points have been mentioned there.